Ever hear the one about the game developer who went to a bar? He left because it lacked character, development. Now imagine a day in the life of this game developer. He wakes up at the crack of dawn, ironically, to create virtual worlds where time is inconsequential and the sun never sets. Bleary-eyed and yawning, he stumbles to his computer station, the hum of the machine a comforting lullaby. He's greeted by the glow of the screen, a beacon in the soft morning light. Sipping on his coffee, the developer's fingers dance across the keyboard, translating his dreams into lines of code. His breakfast isn't eggs and bacon, but algorithms and syntax. In the quiet of the early morning, he weaves tales of adventure and excitement, creating worlds filled with rebellious characters and laws of physics that refuse to behave. So, after a breakfast of code and coffee, our hero is ready to tackle the day. Now, you may think writing code is like writing a novel, but it's more like trying to herd rebellious cats. Oh yes, welcome to the world of game development where pixels and lines of code rule the day. And believe me, they can be as unpredictable as the weather. Picture this. You've spent countless hours creating a character who's supposed to be the hero. You've given him the strength of 10 men, the speed of a cheetah, and the agility of a gymnast. You hit the run button, expecting him to leap over skyscrapers. Instead, he takes a few steps and faceplants into the ground. That's when you realize you forgot to code the jump function. And then there are those times when, in the middle of the night, you wake up with a brilliant idea for a puzzle that will leave players scratching their heads. You get to work, and after a couple of hours, you have the perfect labyrinth. You hit the run button, and lo and behold, your character walks straight through the walls. That's when you realize you forgot to make the walls solid. But let's not forget about gravity. Ah, gravity, the bane of many a game developer's existence. One tiny mistake, and your character is suddenly floating in the air like a balloon, or worse, sinking into the ground like quicksand. And that's when you realize you've reversed the gravity. And just when you think you've got it all figured out, your game characters decide to throw a rebellion. They refuse to follow the script, start interacting with each other in ways you didn't program. And before you know it, your medieval fantasy game has turned into a modern-day sitcom. And that's when you realize your code has a mind of its own. So, you see, coding a game is a lot like trying to put a jigsaw puzzle together. Only the pieces keep changing shape, and sometimes they decide to jump out of the box and run around the room. And that's just before lunch. After lunch, it's time for debugging. That's developer speak for why the heck isn't this working? Let's dive into the delightful dilemma of debugging. A process that could be likened to finding a needle in a haystack, only if the needle was invisible and the haystack was on fire. Yes, you heard it right. It's a trip down the rabbit hole where the smallest mistake can lead to the biggest problems. Imagine this. You're diligently developing a game, an epic fantasy world filled with knights, dragons, and magic. Everything's going great until one day a tiny typo in your code turns your once peaceful kingdom into a chaotic mess. Now, instead of dragons breathing fire, they're spewing out rainbows and unicorns. Instead of knights jousting, they're doing the tango. And your magic? Well, it's turned into a bizarre game of hide and seek where the spellcaster disappears instead of the target. Or how about when you're working on a realistic racing game, where you've carefully coded the laws of physics to create an immersive experience? One wrong character in your code, and suddenly your race cars are defying gravity, zooming upside down on the racetrack, and the audience is left wondering if they're watching Fast and Furious or Mission Impossible. And let's not forget the classic. A simple space in the wrong place, and your warrior princess, who is supposed to be wielding a sword, is now brandishing a spoon. A spoon! Talk about a culinary combat. All these hilarious hiccups are part of a day's work in the life of a game developer. It's a wild, unpredictable ride, filled with unexpected twists and turns. Debugging is like playing detective, only instead of a magnifying glass, you have your trusty code editor, and your suspects are elusive lines of code. So yes, debugging can be absurd, it can be frustrating, and it can certainly test your patience. But at the end of the day, when you finally squash that bug, it's a feeling of triumph that's hard to match. But hey, at least it's not a plumbing job, right? Speaking of game developers, ever wonder what they're missing out on? The game developer's work can sometimes take precedence over their dating life, leading to some comical romantic mishaps or misunderstandings. When a plumber wakes up, they know what's in store: pipes, drains, and the occasional misbehaving toilet. But a game developer? They could be facing an army of pixelated zombies by lunchtime, or maybe a software bug that's turned their fantasy world into a gravity-defying circus. There's no telling what's going to pop up on a developer's dual screen. Now, imagine a plumber called out to fix a leaky faucet. They know the problem, they've got the tools. And it's just a matter of time before that drip, drip, drip is a thing of the past. But swap that dripping faucet for a glitch in a game's code, and it's a whole different ballgame. The developer might spend hours or even days trying to locate the issue. And when they finally find it, it's not a worn-out washer, but a misplaced comma in thousands of lines of code. And while a plumber might get a little wet, a game developer gets to dive into whole new worlds every day. Instead of dealing with rusty pipes, they're creating epic battles, designing complex characters, and shaping immersive environments. They're not just fixing problems, they're building universes. Sure, a plumber might have some wild stories about the things they found in pipes, but can they say they've ridden a dragon, discovered alien civilizations, or saved the world before lunchtime? Unless they're moonlighting as a superhero, we doubt it. But here's the real kicker. At the end of the day, a plumber can pack up their tools, knowing that the job is done. A game developer? They'll be dreaming in code, thinking of the next big thing, and waking up ready to dive back into the chaos. Still think you'd rather deal with clogged toilets? If you're enjoying this glimpse into the wild world of game development, then let's make some noise in the gaming universe together. Smash that like button like it's a bug in your code, and don't forget to subscribe. We're on a quest to reach 1,000 subscribers, and each one of you can help us level up. Think of it this way. Every subscription is like an extra life in our game, and you hold the power to keep us going. And hey, if you've got friends who also love a good laugh and are fascinated by the chaos of coding, why not share this video with them? It's sure to give them a chuckle and offer some insight into the world of game development. Remember, in this game, we're all on the same team. So let's band together and take this journey to 1,000 subscribers and beyond. Every like gets us one step closer to virtual world domination. So, what does a game developer do on their day off? Well, let's take a peek into this fascinating world, shall we? Picture this. It's a bright Sunday morning. The birds are chirping, the sun is shining, and our game developer is, well, gaming. Yes, you heard it right. On a day off, a game developer is often found indulging in a bit of research. They're on a quest, diving into the deep dungeons of the latest RPG, or perhaps testing their reflexes in a high-octane racing game. You see, for them, gaming isn't just recreation, it's research. It's about understanding the mechanics, the dynamics, and the aesthetics of different games. It's about immersing themselves in the user experience to create better, more engaging games. And when they're not gaming, well, they're probably dreaming about code. Yep, even in their dreams, they're troubleshooting, optimizing, and innovating. They're untangling the knotted threads of a stubborn bug or exploring the uncharted territories of a new game engine. And sometimes they're just dreaming about that rebellious game character who has been defying the laws of physics lately. And amidst all this, there's a moment of epiphany. That's when they realize that the plumber they've coded into their game might not be able to fix a leaky pipe in the real world, but he sure can navigate through an alien-infested spaceship, armed with nothing but a wrench. It's a hilarious thought that brings a smile to their face. Even on their day off, you see, game developers are living and breathing the world they create. They're constantly exploring, constantly learning, constantly evolving. It's a never-ending cycle of chaos and creativity, of problems and solutions, of work and play. In their world, the lines are blurred. Work is play, and play is work. Because who needs a break from virtual chaos, right? After all, in the dynamic, exciting, and sometimes downright hilarious world of game development, every day is a new adventure, even a day off. So, there you have it, a day in the life of a game developer. From the crack of dawn, the game developer's day is packed with challenges and unexpected surprises. It's a roller coaster ride, full of coding chaos, debugging dilemmas, and the occasional day off where they're still probably dreaming in code. We've laughed at the absurdity of creating a universe where characters have minds of their own, and the laws of physics are more like gentle suggestions. We've chuckled at the thought of a plumber, who may miss the chance to wrestle with rebellious pipes or uncooperative wrenches, but will never have to coax a character to stop running in circles or floating in midair. Being a game developer is like being a parent, a scientist, and a circus ringmaster all in one. It's nurturing a world from the ground up, testing theories and hypotheses, and keeping a bunch of unruly elements in line. And while it might be a tad more chaotic than fixing leaky faucets or unclogging drains, It's a unique kind of satisfaction that only comes from seeing your creation come to life. But what do you think? Do you agree with this mad, delightful, and chaotic portrayal of a game developer's life? Or perhaps you have a hilarious tale of your own to share. We'd love to hear your thoughts and stories. As we wrap up this wild ride, we'd like to ask for your support. If you found this content amusing and insightful, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. We're on a mission to reach 1,000 subscribers, and every little bit of support counts. We hope this glimpse into the life of a game developer has brought a smile to your face, and perhaps a newfound appreciation for the wizards behind your favorite games. And remember, in the world of game development, every day is a new adventure, or bug, or both.